Have you ever wondered what it would be like to come face to face with an extraterrestrial being? It was a typical evening in 1975 when Travis Walton and his logging crew found themselves asking this very question in the heart of Snowflake, Arizona. As they toiled away amidst the towering trees, the forest was suddenly bathed in an eerie, radiant glow. The source? An awe-inspiring metallic craft, disc-shaped and pulsating with an otherworldly light. This was no ordinary forest encounter. It was a spectacle that defied all earthly logic and understanding. Curiosity is a powerful force, and in this case it was Travis Walton who felt its irresistible pull. He was inexplicably drawn toward the spectacle, as if some unseen force was compelling him to approach the strange craft. His fellow loggers watched in disbelief as Travis ventured closer, drawn in by the captivating light of the UFO. But then, the unimaginable happened. A blinding beam of light shot out from the craft, striking Travis with such force that he was rendered unconscious. His fellow loggers could only look on in horror as their comrade fell, his body limp and lifeless. The forest, once filled with the sounds of industry and camaraderie, was plunged into stunned silence. The loggers, still reeling from the shock, could only stare at the spot where Travis had stood moments before. Their minds raced with questions, their hearts pounded with fear. What was this craft? Where had it come from? And most importantly, where was Travis? Their fellow logger, their friend, had been taken right before their eyes. The forest, once a place of work and familiarity, had become a site of mystery and dread. And just like that, Travis Walton was gone, leaving his fellow loggers in a state of shock and disbelief. As they stood there, trembling in the strange, pulsating light of the UFO, they knew that their lives, and the life of Travis Walton, would never be the same. Imagine waking up in an unfamiliar place, completely disoriented and surrounded by beings not of this world. This is exactly the harrowing situation Travis Walton found himself in back in 1975. As he regained consciousness, he found himself lying on a table in a dimly lit room. His body ached all over and his senses were in disarray, as if he'd been plunged into a disorienting dream. In this room, he was not alone. His company was far from comforting. Standing around him were figures that seemed to defy the laws of nature as we know them. They were beings that Walton believed to be extraterrestrial. They were strange, with large, unblinking eyes and faces devoid of any discernible emotion. Their communication was unlike anything Walton had experienced before. There were no words spoken, no facial expressions given. Instead, they seemed to communicate telepathically. Fear and confusion gripped Walton. His instinctual response? Fight or flight. He chose to fight. Using whatever means were at his disposal, he tried to fend off these otherworldly beings. His desperate actions seemed to deter them, giving him a brief respite. This was his chance. He spotted what appeared to be the room's only exit, a mysterious doorway on the opposite side. With every ounce of strength left in him, he made a desperate dash for it. Freedom seemed within his grasp. But just when escape seemed possible, he was stopped in his tracks. A human figure entered the room, followed by 3 others. These individuals, in collaboration with the enigmatic entities, swiftly placed a plastic mask over Walton's face. The world around him began to fade away as he was once again plunged into unconsciousness. Just as he thought he might escape, a human figure entered the room, and things took a turn for the worse. This marked the end of the second phase of Travis Walton's chilling encounter, an abduction experience that has intrigued, horrified, and baffled us for decades. What would it feel like to suddenly find yourself back on Earth, disoriented and with no memory of how you got there? This was the bewildering reality for Travis Walton, who found himself on a remote roadside in Heber, Arizona, with no recollection of how he had arrived there. His return was far from a hero's welcome. Confused and disoriented, he had to face the skepticism and disbelief, not only from his fellow loggers, but also from a cynical public. Travis's story was met with raised eyebrows, furrowed brows, and dismissive shakes of the head. The narrative of his alien encounter was too extraordinary, too outlandish for many to accept. His fellow loggers, the very men who had seen the radiant object in the forest and had fled in terror, leaving Travis behind, were now questioning his account. Doubts began to creep in, skepticism started to build, and Travis found himself in a lonely battle to convince them of the reality of his experience. And then there was the wider public. The tale of a forestry worker, zapped by a beam of light and whisked away by an unidentified flying object, was more than just a little hard to swallow. It was the stuff of science fiction, not of everyday life in Snowflake, Arizona. But the disbelief didn't deter Travis. He stood his ground, unwavering in his account of that fateful night, even under the most rigorous scrutiny. He faced the public skepticism head-on, not shying away from the barrage of questions and doubts thrown his way. His story remained consistent, his conviction unshaken. His staunch belief in his own experience was what made his narrative compelling, despite the skepticism. There was a certain determination, a steadfastness in his recounting that demanded attention, even from the most cynical of listeners. In the face of disbelief, Travis Walton did not retreat or recant. His story, as outlandish as it seemed, was his truth. His conviction was the cornerstone of his narrative, a testament to his extraordinary experience. Despite the skepticism, Travis Walton stood by his story, unwavering in his account of that fateful night. How do you live a normal life after an experience so extraordinary and unexplainable? Imagine being Travis Walton, a man whose life took an abrupt detour into the realm of the extraordinary and the unexplainable. After his return from an alleged alien abduction, Walton found not the solace of routine, but a life forever marked by his extraordinary encounter. His existence became a testament to the inexplicable, a living narrative of an event that defies our understanding of reality. The aftermath of his experience was a maelstrom of scrutiny, skepticism, and disbelief. His story was dissected, analyzed, and questioned at every turn. Yet, through it all, Walton remained unwavering in his account. His recounting of the event, whether to curious individuals or skeptical critics, remained consistent and passionate. His tale was not a fleeting memory, fading with time, but a vivid recollection, etched into his mind with the precision of a laser beam. The accusations of hoax and delusion were relentless, yet Walton's story found corroboration in unlikely places. The loggers who had been with him on that fateful evening in the Arizona forest stood by their accounts. They too had seen the strange, glowing object, a sight so otherworldly that it had seared itself into their collective memory. Their testimonies, though overshadowed by Walton's dramatic narrative, lent an eerie credibility to his claims. In the face of skepticism and disbelief, these men, simple loggers by trade, found themselves thrust into the spotlight, their lives intertwined with a story larger than their own. They became the supporting cast in Walton's narrative, their corroborations a vital thread in the tapestry of his extraordinary tale. Walton's life post-abduction was no longer his own, but a shared narrative, a story that resonated with those who dared to believe, and a mystery that confounded those who could not. His experience became a symbol of humanity's encounter with the unknown, a testament to our collective fascination with the inexplicable. To this day, Travis Walton's story stands as one of the most enduring and controversial cases of alleged alien abduction. What does Travis Walton's account mean for our understanding of extraterrestrial life? This question has sparked a multitude of theories and debates over the years. Some propose that Walton's experience was an experimental endeavor by extraterrestrial beings to study humans. Others suggest it was a mere chance encounter, a cosmic mishap if you will, that led to his abduction. In the midst of these theories, Travis's own beliefs about his abductor's intentions add an intriguing dimension to the narrative. Walton firmly believes that if these beings had harmful intentions, they could have easily executed them. The fact that he was returned to Earth, albeit disoriented and with a fragmented memory of the event, suggests to him a level of benevolence or at least a sense of neutrality. Walton's perspective is thought-provoking to say the least. It challenges the popularized, often fear-driven narrative of malevolent extraterrestrial beings. Instead, it nudges us to consider the possibility that these beings, if they indeed exist, might be more akin to curious explorers than hostile invaders. Of course, skeptics have their own theories. Some argue that the entire episode was an elaborate hoax, a product of overactive imaginations and the desire for fame. Others propose more grounded explanations, such as hallucinations induced by fatigue or stress. Regardless of the veracity of Walton's account, its impact on popular culture and our collective thinking about extraterrestrial life cannot be understated. It has fueled our fascination with the unknown, prompting us to continually question and explore the vastness of the cosmos. Whether you believe Travis Walton's story or not, one thing is certain: it has forever changed the way we think about the possibility of life beyond Earth. His tale, with its blend of fear, wonder, and intrigue, continues to captivate us, reminding us that we are but a small part of an unimaginably vast and mysterious universe.